Hello, boys and girls. You are listening and watching episode 37 of the Peter Talks Smackdown podcast. Again, Peter Talks Smackdown podcast, where I give you your weekly dose of Smackdown action in the form of a review. Calling out Kita straight up first off, and calling out my podcast hombre Nathan Newman from the New Day podcast. You know what? If there was ever an episode that existed, since anything that happens on SmackDown don't exist, we ended the first fucking round of the tournament determining who's going to be the next WWE World Heavyweight Champion. All right? Damn it. We got some good damn matches too. So, if you're listening, Nate, which I doubt because you don't like listening to one-person shows, but I know you're listening, Kita. You take that. I got your tweet saying that you watched the show, and I'm proud of you. I'm damn proud of you. I'm going to be even more proud when I hear from you from at least the opening of this podcast. So, without further ado, you can check this shit out. If you're listening now, just a reminder, if you're already checking this out on YouTube, that's awesome. But you can check this out on YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher Radio, Podbean. And if you have a Tumblr account, you can listen on Tumblr. I post all the shit on there. Even my Instagram, like short 15-second clips to try to promote what's going on in the Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling universe, which contains of the New Day podcast, me and Nathan Newman. You got Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. You also have Peter Talks Smackdown, which you're listening to now. We also have Peter's Raw Recap, which happens normally after Raw. The last week I didn't do it because it was my birthday. I was too busy having a fucking birthday. But next week, I think Monday Night Football is going to suck, and I'm going to watch Raw live for the first time in 2 weeks and give you a Raw recap. And that is a YouTube exclusive thing. So enough lip service. Let's get to this fucking review because my battery's running low on this thing. SmackDown is in the same fucking building where they had Raw in Manchester. They're in Manchester. Again, the injury to Seth Rollins is the reason why we're having this tournament. And this episode of SmackDown is the end of the first round. All the matches that weren't on Raw, it's here. So right now they move to the quarterfinals. They're in Manchester. And the injury to Seth Rollins happened in Ireland. And everyone's talking about, I was listening to other podcasts and they're talking about like there's going to be this crazy influx of things are happening. It's like, well, maybe not, but it's an opportunity. No one's saying, last week I was like, yo, prepare for some crazy shit. And yes, I'm right. I like to think that I'm right, that there's awesome things that will come out of it. People really going over the top to be noticed. If they don't get that spot, it's not because of a lack of fucking effort. And that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So this tournament is definitely a means to sort of see who not only is going to be chosen, but who's on the rise. And this happened, like some couple of things happened in this, which was pretty fucking badass. But the show itself starts out with the Wyatt family. They come to the ring, fireflies, all that shit. You get Undertaker chants, and it starts off with Harper getting a word in. You get Rowan getting a word in. You get Braun Strowman getting a word in. And then you have Bray Wyatt, who basically shoots on the idea of the Undertaker and Kane escaping, the Brothers of Destruction, escaping whatever place or lair that Bray had them. Now, I feel like they missed the boat on maybe something crazy to where showing them escaping wherever the fuck they were. That'd have been cool if they would have done like a video package of them coming back. But all we got was from Raw, just them returning and coming in and beating the living shit out of the Wyatt family. But he talks about how, okay, you've escaped, but you're not the same. I have a part of you. And you at like, I don't know, 90% isn't you at 100%. You're not the same. So anyone who's excited thinking they're going to come kick my ass, you might as well die it down, kill it slowly, because you know what? I have a part of them that they can never get back. So I'm going to kick their ass. But anyway, he challenges them to a Survivor Series match between the Brothers of Destruction, and it was kind of weird. I guess I need to watch it again, but he does put out the challenge to the Brothers of Destruction to face two people of his liking. So it's not. I don't think it's going to be a Survivor Series style match like 4-on-4. I think it's just going to be 2-on-2. So it's going to be Bray and maybe Braun versus the Brothers of Destruction, rather than all four versus the Brothers of Destruction and say take two other people. So we'll see how that forms out. I think Monday they'll probably make it clear. If anybody's watching SmackDown, I imagine that's the question that's floating around. Like, what? Like, what? I don't get it. So I hope they make it a little bit clearer. But that's to my understanding. It's just going to be 2-on-2 tag team, which is, weird. What you think about it? I would like to see 4-on-4. Go get some guys, recruit some guys, and just have a 4-on-4 Survivor Series match. Traditional. I think it'd be great. Well, that's what the fuck they've been doing for the past week with the Wyatt family. They got a clean sweep last SmackDown, and then they did it again on Raw. Either way. But we're not done with the Wyatt family quite yet, because we get the in-ring SmackDown debut of a singles match with Braun Strowman versus, wait for it, I looked over there to see if my neighbors were actually watching. They're like, what the fuck is that guy doing? Well, anyway, it is the return of Fandango to England. Now, if anybody remembers when Fandango first showed up on the scene in England, he was mega over. Actually, the song that he came out to, the Fandango song by Johnston, it was actually like the number one hit on the BBC. Because motherfuckers was just going crazy, Fandangoing everywhere. And that kind of fizzled out. But you know what? It still was a little bit over. When the music hit, everyone still remembered. They started whipping out the Fandango dance. But poor Fandango, he didn't seem too excited about having this match. I bet there was any other time this motherfucker wanted to be on the main, on a SmackDown taping or a Raw. This is not the one of them. It is not, even though he's mad over. So he's walking to the ring like, oh shit, my bad. No, man, this sucks. But anyway, he gets in there, he gets squashed, he gets strangled. And that's it. I still would like to know the name of that stranglehold. That'd be nice if we were given a name to that. And speaking of that, there's other names that need to be given to certain moves. Definitely. But yeah, that's poor Fandango. He's dead. He was strangled out. He tapped. It'd have been great. It was funny. I say this. It'd have been great if he just the ref would have actually lifted his hand 3 times rather than him tap out. So clean that up, motherfuckers. Clean that shit up. All right. We get to the next match, which is Neville versus Barrett. Okay? 2 guys from England. They get in there. They have a hell of a match. Wade basically kicks the shit out of Neville this entire match. Just beats the living hell out of him. Neville takes a beating like I've never seen during this match, which results in, a little bit of a momentum swing there's a part where Wade Barrett gets Neville up for Wasteland, but that gets reversed into a DDT. Neville hits the red arrow. 1, 2, 3 victory for Neville, who's been on a losing streak like hell over the past couple of weeks. So kudos, he gets out of the first round in his hometown. Well, not hometown, in his home country, against a guy who actually defeated him in King of the Ring. Kudos to him. Now, he faced Kevin Owens in the quarterfinals. Next up, we have the Usos in the back with Young, and they basically shoot on the match they have coming up with the Wyatts, because at the beginning of the show they go through the card of what's going on, the people in the tournament, but then you also have a non-tournament match, which is the Usos versus the Wyatts. I guess it's Harper and Rowan versus the Usos, and to the point that where they even bring up, which I thought was pretty cool, because they never really tie up loose ends. But you remember on SmackDown when Braun Strowman actually attacks Jimmy Uso, strangles his ass, left him for dead on the ramp? Well, they brought that shit up again, and I was just like, oh, sweet. At least they brought that shit up. At least there's a little blood in the water for this shit, even though they've had several fucking matches against one another. But since the addition of Strowman, it just adds a little more newness to whatever feud they got going. Now, I don't know if this happened on air. I just happened to catch the upload of the taping. I don't know if this happened live or on Sci-Fi, but the copy that I ended up watching, there was a post-match promo, and I think this is completely a dark promo by Wade Barrett. And he's basically making excuses for his loss. And it's interesting. I think you hear one of the guys say something and then they go quiet. But there's no real miking. The only mic is, I guess, coming from whatever's inside. But he's basically making excuses for his loss to Neville. And then all of a sudden, everything kind of goes black. But then it comes back on. And the Undertaker is fucking showing up. And I'm like, holy shit, how can you leave this off air? But anyway, I know why they probably did it. It was just for the fans. But it made it to this taping. And I imagine if anybody who's listening to different podcasts or what have you, they're going to bring this up in their podcast. The fact that Undertaker showed up in a dark segment with Wade Barrett. But it was something interesting. He comes out. Can I help you, mate? Which is pretty funny. Wade Barrett just kind of, tries to sound like a tough guy around these parts and blah, 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 blah. What I should do is wind up and hit you with my bull hammer, but I ain't got time for this. And he kind of tries to walk out. He comes back in. Undertaker fucking puts him in a choke slam. Then he puts him in the tombstone power driver. It looks like he's about to walk off. The crowd is chanting one more time. He goes back in. He hits him with another tombstone, and he summons the fucking elements. And it was good. The crowd reaction. I think if anyone sees this, if you go back and watch this, now maybe it seems like the crowd isn't as crazy and bonkers about the Undertaker, but you have to take into consideration this is the Undertaker. So you see all these phones out, and then you hear. It's not that people aren't popping. They're just observant, of what's actually happening. They're taking it all in. So, he gets his pops, but I think it's more. I think if you were to criticize the crowd for not seeming to give it as much heat as it should, it's because they're in awe. Their mark out moment is like. So, that's how I see it. Well, anyway, Ryback versus Kalisto, which is the match of the week to me. At all the matches I've seen, from Raw, NXT, all the shit. This match, Ryback versus Kalisto, not only is it the best match I've seen this week, but it's the best. Well, I'm sorry. I apologize. I do apologize. I did watch New Japan. From the WWE product, the best match of the WWE product this week. And not only did we get a good match, but we got the right person going over. Now, all this talks of, hey, next man up, who's going to shine? Now, we were trying to figure out if they were going to go with Neville or go with Kalisto, because they're little guys, like they high flyers, they move pretty quickly, but one's an English guy they're trying to set up as like a superhero. The other guys basically should be the heir apparent to Rey Mysterio. And with the Lucha Dragons losing left and right, and Neville losing left and right, you really don't know. I guess they're, between the two of them, they're like parallel. But both of them won. And this match itself, okay, sorry for the early spoiler, but Neville wins this motherfucker. But not only did he win this, between him and Ryback, that dynamic and just seeing the two of them go, the chemistry between those two was fucking-nificent. It was magnificent. You couldn't ask for a better match, especially like a bigger guy versus a smaller guy, quicker guy. Kalisto is a great performer. Great performer. The reason I don't know why he's been on TV and they haven't really pulled the trigger on him is beyond me. Maybe there's a method to the madness of having him job out, but he's been on some fucking momentum recently with the Lucha Dragons. And now with this match and him just like, fuck this, what? Injuries, sabbaticals, I'm fucking showing my ass. Sin Cara's the same way. He's been fantastic. And this match with Ryback, and kudos to Ryback. I didn't think he had it in him to go against like a smaller guy. And listening to his interview on the Stone Cold podcast, the guy's hungry. And no gimmick here. I'm not trying to be all gimmick. I'm no pun intended. But the guy's hungry. He does believe that he could be the next man up, the next man. And for him to basically swallow his pride and humble himself to do the job to Kalisto, hats off to you, bro. Because new stars are needed. You get your check. You will eventually get your time to shine. I don't think anyone's going to look at this as if you lost to Hornswoggle, okay? You lost to an up-and-coming, faster, quicker, witty motherfucker, right? And you're going to get your shot. You betcha. You will. The return of Ryback will, the way your character's developing and everything, I can see you back in a spot to where you're going to be just fucking fine. But, my God, Kalisto, he hits her early, like at first it's like boom, boom, boom. He hits her early Selena Del Sol. Oh, man. And then he wins with the Selena Del Sol off the top buckle. Fucking awesome. Just an awesome match. Please go back and watch this match. And at the end, you think Ryback is about to turn heel on him. But he actually shows him love. He shakes his hand and he raises his hand, claps on the way out, and that's how that ends. The next match is Alberto Del Rio with Stardust versus Stardust. Zeb Coulter and Alberto Del Rio speaks on the idea of England being just a very separated country. The Welsh hate the Irish hate this, blah, 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 blah. And then Del Rio brings up the fact that you're so petty and you divide so much that you have two fucking football teams in one city that is divided. So that's how divided you guys are. Y'all a bunch of haters. America's about togetherness. And once we get this shit off the ground, none of y'all motherfuckers are invited. And I mean, I think I kind of tuned out. But Del Rio wins with that stomp. And I'm trying to figure out again, what the fuck is the name of that move? Please, someone give me a name. The Border Patrol? I don't know. Togetherness stomp? I mean, is the feet are together? I don't know. It's pretty brutal. But give it something. All right, that's all. That's my little my little gripe. Because I'm sitting here trying to figure out, what are they going to call it? Are they ever going to call it anything? And why don't they have something by now? Because normally when you hit a move, they'll be like, oh yeah, that's the so-and-so. But this guy has done this move like 8 times and we still haven't gotten what it is. And it's his finisher. The arm bar, he hit it after a match, but he hasn't submitted on someone for someone to tap out yet. We get Young in the back with Reigns. I think they shoot on I guess, what happened at the opening of Raw last Monday, and basically Triple H trying to get him to join the Authority, and it was basically him coming to grips with the decision that he made. Blah, blah, fucking blah. My co-host for the New Day podcast believes that this whole tournament is all a ruse just to throw the belt on him. And I say, au contraire, mon frère. Don't even go there. I think there's someone in the way to keep Reigns from getting that belt. I mean, it's one thing to have the Dusty Rhodes Classic, right? And you get the two best motherfuckers on the roster in Finn Balor and Samoa Joe, and they run shot and they win the championship. It's pretty obvious. That was pretty obvious. I'm thinking, oh man, someone else got to win this shit. But no, they went right for the fucking obvious. They went for it. Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, Dusty Cup champs. It would be the same fucking thing if they did this with Roman Reigns. But like, my God, do you really want to see that? Do you really want to see that? I mean, you watch this show, you know, and it seems tempting, you know, just to say, fuck it, let me just do this and put the belt on Reigns. But it's way too easy. The WWE, you know, they can fuck us over a couple of times, but they're not that brutal. You know, I will give them the benefit of doubt that they are not that fucking brutal. All right? And that's why I'll end it there. They are not that brutal. Something's going to happen, man. Something's going to happen. Something's going to interfere. And Reigns, it's not that I don't want him to win the belt. It's just like this tournament, it would be too fucking obvious that he's going to take it. I mean, there's going to be no build up to nothing. To nothing. It's just like, I mean, he's going to be John Cena wait a minute. All right, never mind. Let's get to the end of this. We get the Wyatts, we get Harper and Rowan against the Usos, and there's a brawl before the bell even strikes. There's a part where I thought Jay had hurt himself again. He landed pretty bad on his leg. I was like, oh fuck, this sucks. But anyway, the match itself is pretty fucking good. It ends in a no contest, well, a DQ, because it seems that the Usos were, you know, just going crazy. Uso crazy. They did a nice little dive out, what have you. But they pile on to the Usos without a victor and beat the living shit out of them. I mean, they beat them down. But either way, it's a good match. Go check it out if you have the chance. But this match has everything to do with one thing. And as the beatdown commences, you hear, take Undertaker. You know, you think he's going to come out. You think Kane's going to come out. But he doesn't come out. He basically does the same thing he did 2 years ago when he agreed to the match at WrestleMania. Now, the motherfucker's already been on TV. Well, he hasn't been on TV. But he's in the building. We all know he's in the building. It'd have been nice if he would have just kind of walked out and accepted the challenge. But you just basically, you know, the lights turn blue and they stop beating the shit out of the Usos. They stop and they stare at the Tron or whatever the fuck they're staring at. And it's the Taker's voice. And he's like, I accept your offer, you fucking jabronis. And that's how the show ends. I guess I'm interested to see what happens. I mean, we got what? One more week? I'm not sure if this is the go-home show to Survivor Series or what. I think this is the go-home show. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that this will be the go-home show. Yeah, and the 22nd. Yeah. So, a lot to prepare for. A lot to prepare for. We got the final to the World Heavyweight Championship tournament. We got the... what's happening here? My shit about to fall over. Oh, man, that's funny. If you're watching on YouTube, my lamp almost fucking fell forward. I just seen it kind of like... I'm like, oh, don't fall, bro. Don't fall, bro. But anyway, we got the tournament championship. We got the Wyatts versus the Brothers of Destruction. I'm not sure what other belts. Oh, yeah, I think it's Paige against Charlotte Flair for the Divas belt. I don't think there's any other matches so far. I think, yeah, I really can't come away. I guess if it's Tyler Breeze and Dolph Ziggler, but he's still in the tournament. I think it's just going to be a tournament-laced show outside of the Divas Championship match and the Undertaker Survivor Series match. I think it's just going to be a tournament-laden Survivor Series. So one can only see what's going to happen. I guess the other Divas match will be Natalya versus Sasha Banks. So a lot to look forward to. Again, this match is pretty good. That's 2 straight weeks of just decent television until Survivor Series is done, and then we're back to shit. But again, this lack there of star power and this surge of new acts, people stepping up their game and trying to go for that brass ring. I mean, it's an exciting time for me. Very exciting time for me. I very much enjoy it. I'm going to ride this wave until, it dies out. But until then, the plugs are this. Follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is PJTW Central. Again, it's PJTW Central. That means Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling Central. That's on Twitter. Follow me. I'm posting stuff. I'm tweeting live sometimes. I'm posting when I post these videos and audio, these podcasts. If you are on YouTube, hit the subscription button below. If you're listening on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and now Podbean, I pay a lot of money for this, so I hope people are on Podbean tuning into it as well. Subscribe, guys. Add me to your favorites playlist, and you will get the following. Again, the New Day podcast every Monday before Raw. Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. That's me and Jake. We're on the last episode was 2 days ago, which was 64, week 64. So we're over a year doing this. What else we got? We got Peter Talks Smackdown. This is Friday night. I'm going to post this, so you'll be watching this Saturday. I'm doing this before I go into DJ. And, that's about it. But if you're on YouTube, you get Peter's Raw Recap, like I said earlier. So, again, subscribe, leave a comment, or send a tweet to PJTW Central. If you agree with something, you want to, disagree with something, leave a comment below or send me a tweet. Like it, thumbs up, heart, all those things that say that you like it. Man, I would muchly appreciate it. And then also share. Share. I can never say this enough. Just hit that little rotator button or something like that and just share it. Put it on your Facebook. Put it on your Twitter. Put it, if you have a SoundCloud account, just repost it on your shit there. Even on your Tumblr. If you like it, like it. All these things, man, like that. And share. That's how we keep this movement going. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Load this shit to my computer. And then you're watching now is Saturday. Hello, Saturday. And watch out for those foreign objects. I see you, Rose.